decided it was time to teach her 10 and 13-year-old daughters how to sell products online. Within 9 months, these girls, who were in junior high and elementary school, sold their first 6 figures selling scarves. She is now teaching over 2,000 others how they can build their profitable e-commerce business and live a hashtag because I can clan life. So Allison, welcome to the summit.
I'm so glad to be here. Thank you so much for having me on.
Absolutely. It's fantastic to have you here. And as your bio mentioned, and as everybody who's ever heard of you knows, you're in the business of e-commerce and teaching other people about e-commerce business. So your 30-day plan is all about setting up your own e-commerce business. And specifically, though, you say in your plan that your strategy is going to be to find parties, find products for those parties, and then eventually throw your own parties. So my very first question is, what in the world are you talking about when you say these parties?
We like a party, right? We always like a party. But the best thing about parties is when you just get to attend. The worst thing about party is having to plan the whole thing, right? And so my whole thing on e-commerce, I've actually, when Russell asked me to do this, what would I do if I had zero money? This has actually happened to me. So it wasn't really hard to recreate it because I've done it. I wasn't born into a whole bunch of money. We actually had zero money, and going into e-commerce, everybody says you have to have money to get product. I didn't have any. I just had to look around to see what I had to be able to sell it. So in the whole e-commerce world, in the whole business world, we've got two commodities, time and money, right? And we know that money is off the table. So I have time to be able to get into the right parties. And parties are happening all the time online. So in my chapter, can I reference back to that real quick? In the chapter, I talk about, have you ever seen the Friends episodes where whenever Ross throws a party, it always pans to him sitting on the couch and nobody's there? And then it pans to Rachel's parties where everybody's there, everybody's having a good time and talking. And that's exactly what's happening online 24/7, and we can take total advantage of that. We just have to find the Rachels of the online world, also known as influencers, and then be able to sort out which ones are the Rachels and which ones are the Rosses the fastest. Because when Rachel's throwing a party, what is she talking about? She's talking about the products she's using for her party, right? And that she's talking to a very warm audience, a very hot audience at that point, right? Versus if I were to go to the Ross party, no one's there. Or if I were to start walking down the halls and knocking on the doors, oh my heck, no thank you. No thank you. And the best part about e-commerce and going into this situation is you don't have to have a big following. You don't have to be known in this world. When I started, I just hid behind my computer for 7 years and was able to grow these big brands without my face. And so I didn't need to try and prove anything. I just needed to get into the Rachel's hands of the world, and that is what explodes businesses.
So specifically in your 30-day plan, when you talk about these parties and where to find them, you spend a lot of time talking about Instagram. So I'd love to pick your brain a little bit more about why this platform of Instagram and also how to find parties on there and how you really utilize it.
Absolutely. So we are literally, most of the time, sitting on the whole phone book of party planners out there. It's Instagram. It's right there on our phone on a free app, and they've given us one more powerful thing. So instead of just going to the search and just trying to find someone, right, they've given us hashtags. So we can look at the influencers or the party throwers that fit our niche, fit our products. So if I was looking into selling dog supplies, I would be going and hashtagging dog blogger or dog tips or dog presents, right? And I'm going to find all the people that talk about this kind of stuff. So that would be going to a dog party, right? And the person that's hosting the party is going to be talking all about it. And if your product gets in there, she's going to be able to sell to her audience very well. You can do that with baking. You can do that with clothing. You can do, like, name it. It's there. There's a bajillion influencers or party throwers online. You just got to get in the door.
Okay, fantastic. Do you have any tips for us for getting in the door? I mean, how do we get those influencers to want to work with us?
Okay, number one, be human. I know that's like so obvious, but I'm actually an influencer on another company that I own. And we've got over 2 million Facebook followers over there. And so for the past almost decade, I have been getting slammed with how advertisers approach influencers. And I'll tell you what, 99% of them go to spam because they treat us like robots. And it's just a mass email with no personality. You don't want to work with those type of companies, right? We want to be treated like a human being. And if you can relate it to, this is how I relate it. When you have a neighbor, let's say a new neighbor moves into your house, and you want to get into their house, what's the first thing you do? You don't just go over there, open the door, bust in, and start making yourself at home, right? And getting into their fridge and drinking their Diet Coke. You don't. You have to approach it like you would approach a new neighbor. You knock on their door. You wait for them to answer. You start a conversation. You might come bearing gifts, right? Everybody loves gifts. Everybody loves to be spoiled. And it doesn't have to be like thousands and thousands of dollars. There are some influencers where I've sent them paper products after they have a baby, like paper plates, paper cups, silverware. So they don't have to do their dishes for a month. And I say, hey, congratulations on having a baby. I'm going to do your dishes for an entire month. Those influencers now have become my best friend because I've taken a pain point away and it didn't cost me that much money. So that's how you get in, is that you literally be human. And then after you're human, then you start talking about why your products are going to convert really well for their customers and how they're going to make money. Influencers are out there every day trying to find companies to work with because influencers usually don't have products. They usually sell other people's products. And so if you can create that win-win of you selling an amazing product and they tell their customers about it, the influencer makes money, the customer's happy, and then you make money. It's kind of a three-way triangle win.
Okay, so believe it or not, we are still on week 1. So now that we found our parties and have some influencers to work with, what we need to think about now are the products that we are going to sell. And you have a very specific philosophy about selling things online, which is that you should be selling things that are already selling or selling trending products. So could you talk to us a little bit about this philosophy and how you identify products to sell?
Okay, so I have grown multiple $1-million businesses. And I'm not saying this to brag, it's to prove a point. Not one of those things has ever been a Shark Tank idea. Not one of those things have I needed to go get patents on or crazy copyright anything. I haven't. When you sell what is selling, you can blow things out of the water. So my girls, for instance, they sold scarves. It's like billions of scarves have been sold, right? Like a gajillion billion have been sold. They just saw the trend. They got on that bandwagon and they sold their 6 figures while they were like still learning how to wear deodorant. And so you don't have to make this complicated. And this is what a lot of people come into, just like, Alison, how do I find a product? I mean, you're overthinking it. Simplify this process. It doesn't need to be complicated. And so some of the things that I do to look for trending product is I go out and I watch Amazon trending products. I watch some of the deal sites out there to see what is selling fastest. One of them is Zulily. You go to their hashtag trending and you can see what is selling. Now, this isn't to copy. You're not copying, right? When on this 30-day challenge, I have to get more of a commodity type product because I can't go to China and source. I just don't have the time. So I'm trying to find a commodity, something that is very easy for me to get, like in 2 to 3 days, because I've got to turn around fast. I've got to get it in, sell it, get it in, and then get it out the door very quickly. I don't have time to wait for the slow boat from China.
Powerful.
Okay, fantastic. But then one of the things that you talk about in your plan is after you've found a product you want to sell, you have to uncommodify it. So what are you talking about when you say that?
Okay, so for instance, cake stands. Cake stands, how many cake stands are there out there? Like 10 billion, right? And so if I went and try and sold them, the only leverage that I've got to getting in is lowering my prices. And I don't want to do that. I'm not here to give product away. I'm not here to volunteer my work. I'm here to make money. And so I have to figure out how to make that cake stand better than every single other cake stand out there. But I've got to do it for pennies, right? Like I can't go and invest more of the money that I don't have. And so one thing that I would do is I would add a PDF. So for instance, if it's a cake stand, what PDF ebook can I give with it? Maybe it's 50 ways to make fast cupcakes, 50 5-minute ways to make cupcakes to make you look like queen of the bake sale. And then, so that comes with it. And then what else do they need? They're gonna need cupcake liners, right? So either they're making a cake or they're putting cupcakes on it. I know I can get cupcake liners for pennies here from just a local company that will ship them to me very quick. So I'm offering the product, I'm offering what to do with the product, and I'm offering how to make them look good. And then I'm gonna try and throw in free shipping because we've all been spoiled with Amazon Prime, which with all that, it gives such a greater value. So I can play with my margins a little bit more and I can offer a better product.
You know, as somebody who operates in the info product space myself, we are constantly talking about how critical it is for us to make our offer more appealing. And I think that's maybe something that a lot of people in the e-commerce space don't think about because, you know, when we go to an online store to buy a shirt, we're just there to get the shirt. But when it comes to e-commerce in funnels, we really need to also be thinking about that offering as well. That's what I'm hearing from you.
It is. So like, let's say you're doing a shirt, right? How about offering a pair of earrings with every order? You can get those for like 3 to 5 cents and they ship to you in like 3 to 5 days. It doesn't have to be expensive, but what else can you do to spoil customers? They can go anywhere and buy a shirt, right? But in this day and age, we're more about the experiences versus getting cheap products. We want to be spoiled. We want to be taken care of. We want to know that a brand loves us as a customer. So what are we going to do to turn around and make them feel loved? It's giving them more value, things that are going to make their lives better.
Now, one of the strategies that you mentioned in your 30-day plan, I definitely wanted to ask you about because I haven't seen any of the other summit interviewees talking about this, is this sort of funnel stacking technique that you're using regarding your thank you emails that you send out whenever people purchase an initial product from you. You offer them additional products that you can sell to them and then ship before the first order that they made even gets shipped out. So I would love it if you could explain this technique a little bit more.
Okay, so Dean Holland inspired me at Funnel Hacking Live when he said that his thank you page was the most vital page in his whole funnel. He's got the hottest customers there, right? So when someone buys a product for us, we take them through the funnel, we upsell them, we downsell them, all that kind of stuff, and then they get to the thank you page, and then they check out, right? What if we were able to do that in e-commerce? Right? They get the thank you, to get to the thank you page, right? But then what happens after they buy? They get a follow-up thank you email that says, hey, thank you so much for buying. Here's your order. Here's what to expect. Those emails have the highest open rate. Like if you don't believe me, go send an email right now. You'll get like, I don't know, a 10 to 20% open rate, whereas your thank you emails can get 60 to 70% open rate. And so in your thank you email, you say, thank you so much for your order, and watch for my email tomorrow because I will be giving you a free gift or something, right? You're trying to get a hook. You're trying to create that soap opera sequence within your thank you emails. And so the next day, they're like chomping at the bit to see what is in that email. So not only are you getting them excited about the next day, you're training them to open up emails that they get from you. So in the next email, you say, hey, here's, like you can do, we're talking about cupcakes, right? So what's the next thing they need? They're going to need sprinkles to go on their cupcakes, right? So, hey, I'm going to give you a free jar of sprinkles. You just pay shipping and handling, or buy 2 or 3 and we'll pay free shipping. Just some type of a bait to get them to upsell, because that's what we're trying to do here. And then once they place that order, that first order still hasn't shipped. So you can combine those items and you're not double paying for shipping. So that's just a higher margin in your pocket. Then you still, for instance, in this case, I still haven't shipped out my products yet. So on day 3, or the day 2 email, I'm going to say, hey, I've still got another one for you. Watch out for the 3rd email. And on the 3rd email, what do they need? They need a server, right? Maybe a cake server or something like that. Do the same thing. Then you've got 3 orders in 1. And they just came through the funnel thinking, oh my gosh, I just got the best deal. And then if you send them 2 more emails where you are knocking their socks off with value, you've got a customer that's going to remember you forever. And that's what we want to do. We're trying to create these people who are passionate about our brand. Like, it's just beautiful, right?
I love this strategy because we are constantly hearing how critical it is for us to be selling to those hot customers, those people who've already purchased from us before. And this is a really practical way in which you can do that and really make that happen. So I love that.
Yes, and I actually called it the 3X undercover funnel. Maybe I need to trademark it.
It's pretty cool. That's pretty great.
We're like, literally, our thank you emails are going to our hottest audience. Let's re-engage them and keep them as hot as we possibly can and train them to open up our emails for future offers.
Okay, great. So let's keep moving on in your 30-day plan. We've got our parties, we've identified those influencers we're working with, we've set up our funnel, and we have our products identified as well. By day 17, it's time for us to start our affiliate launches with those influencers. So what is going on during this week of your plan?
Well, first of all, I'm biting my nails because if you've ever launched anything in your entire life, it takes guts. It does. I'm not going to lie. There's no beating around the bush about it. But we have to train our brains to push out that fear and go forward with it. And so honestly, like, I've been doing this for 10 years. And when it comes down to it, I'm always like, okay, kick fear out. Kick fear out. Just go, Alison. You can do this. And so that's the first thing, right? Is kicking that fear out of my head, because I know that I'm about to change lives with my products. Doesn't even matter the product, right? It's the process. It's the process of making someone feel special, feel spoiled, and making their lives better. So we launched the first influencer, and I'm actually, because I'm on such a time crunch at this point, I'm going to be giving influencers a bonus if they can launch it faster. Sometimes you get a hold of influencers and they're like, yeah, I can't post you for 3 weeks. I don't have that time. So I'm going to come back and say, hey, listen, if I give you a 2 to 3 to 5% bonus, or if I give you an X amount of money, can you get me on faster? They're probably going to say yes, right? So I launched the first influencer. They drive traffic to my funnel. I have 0 plan for the day because I want to be watching where customers are clicking, where people are getting stuck. Because I know the next day I've got another influencer coming, and I want to be able to clear out any tweaks, switch any products up so that on day 2 I can convert even more and start pulling that audience and getting them onto my customer email list. And then on day 3, I've worked out all the tweaks, all the bugs, and then I'm just going to flood with all the other influencers. Like, I'm just going to maximize everything that I possibly can. Now, on the product, because I didn't have any money, right? These are actually pre-sales. So in the very beginning, when I'm looking at trending product, I'm also calling vendors or middleman that I can get a product within 2 or 3 days. So I'm actually pre-selling the product. I don't have it with me. I'll ask the vendors for a sample if they won't give one to me. Then I'm going to actually start researching just do the social media search, right? Usually like 100% of the time I get samples. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I get samples. But this one, my hands are kind of tied. And so I would be taking the best educated guess that I could, because I literally don't have penny in my pocket yet. And after that first influencer sells, that gives me enough cash to buy the product to have it shipped in. And so I'm going to be that night on the phone saying, hey, vendor, ship me those cupcake stands. I get them to me. And so that help. I get the money in the door. And then the next day when the influencer sells, I have more money coming in. And then I buy more product. And it's just like money's coming in. And then I pay for the product.
Okay, great. So when this process is sort of over and you've gotten the product in, you've shipped it out, the launch is finished, what's going on with your affiliate partner at this point? Are there any sort of follow-up tasks that you need to worry about?
Absolutely. So I'm trying to create, remember the three-way triangle? I'm trying to create that three-way win triangle for life. You know when you date and it's kind of a pain and it's kind of hard, and then you find the one and you're like, oh, and the angels are singing and they make life easier. They lift you up, you lift them up. It's just like this beautiful connection. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to basically marry these influencers to where they know they can come to me during Black Friday and say, Alison, what products do you have? I know it's going to be influx. I want to maximize my profit. And I'm like, great, let's do this, this, and this, because they're going to make money, right? So I'm trying to create these long-term relationships with them. So I will spoil them. I have money coming in and I look through their, usually their Instagram feed, or watch their Instagram stories and find out what is the pain point. If an influencer's husband has been gone for a week, I'm going to send her dinner and say, hey, I know dinner's a pain and the tush to make, and I know your husband's out of town. I just thank you so much. Here's dinner on me tonight. Or if they have the baby, I'll send them the paper products. I'm doing something to relieve their pain because we're humans. And when pain is relieved, then we appreciate it. We appreciate being loved, right? Influencers are the exact same way. Now, going back to it, if you find, remember dating, you always had that boyfriend or girlfriend that treated you like garbage. And you're like, I'm so glad I didn't marry them. There's going to be those out there. What do? You just cut them off and then keep on going and go find the right influencers to work with.
Mm-hmm. Recognizing that before you've actually worked with someone, it might look like you are going to be an awesome partner with them, but the reality is that after having actually worked with them, you realize that maybe that isn't the best partnership that you should be pursuing anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And if it doesn't work out, no big deal. You haven't paid them anything. And that's one more thing that I want to add. There's influencers out there that will take a flat fee, or others that will work on a commission. Go for the ones on commission. They know how to sell. Like, that's a little hot tip right there. If the influencer's like, here's my flat rate, more likely than not, they do a flat rate because they can't sell. That's not on every single one, but that kind of seems to be the general trend. So try, work for the ones that are working based off of a commission versus a flat fee.
Fantastic advice. Thank you for that. Okay, so during the final week of your 30-day plan, you've now had some successful launches, but that doesn't mean that you are finished. You talk about launching even more funnels, and I'd love to hear what exactly is going on during this final week of your plan.
You know, this is just beginning, right? It hasn't stopped. I've started, the momentum's happening, and I want to keep it going. I already have this hot list ready to go. So why would I start something new? Or why would I get distracted by the glitter, right? What's the next thing they need? Okay, if they bought cake supplies, what's the next thing that they're missing in their life? And maybe I'll send out an email. Along the way, I'm doing giveaways to grow my social media. I'll do an ask campaign. Hey guys, what are you interested in buying next? You got these amazing cake pans. You got all this stuff for free. What's the next thing that you're looking for? Maybe it's still in the cake niche, right? Or maybe it's in something else. And so I'm going to keep serving my audience, all the while getting more influencers to keep selling those cakes, right? There's a bajillion million influencers out there. So I've got this strong funnel that I can keep driving traffic to and making money. And then I want to sell to my customers again. So I'm going to scratch another itch in the next little bit.
Fantastic. Alison, it's been an absolute pleasure having you be a part of the summit, and I've really enjoyed our interview today. I would love to give you one final chance to share any last words of wisdom with our audience before we close.
I think the big thing is just do it. I've proven over and over and over again that you don't have to have a lot of money. When my girls started, I didn't give them thousands of dollars. We gave them a couple $100 and charged them interest. And they were able to make 6 figures. If you don't overcomplicate it, just sell what others are selling and get into the right parties, you can knock it out of the water. E-commerce is I think it's the easiest way to get online. No one has to know you. Nobody knew who I was for 7 years, and I was okay with that because I was working at home in my pajamas with my kids. So I didn't have to I wasn't trying to prove myself to anybody. And I was able to get physical products into the hands of people where it touched their lives and it made their lives better. So then when I started to come out online, they already trusted me. They felt comfortable around me because I'm a part of their life because something physical is sitting in their house right now.
That absolutely fantastic. Alison, thank you so much for sharing all of the incredible value that you have today on this interview. Before we go, I do want to ask a quick question of everybody watching here at home. Do you feel that now you are ready and prepared to begin your own 30-day journey to success? Well, then I have an incredible program I want to tell you about. It's called the One Funnel Away Challenge. If you click the button to learn